Just imagine walking down a street in New York City and coming across a building that seems to go on forever. Once again, Google's new office made it to the headlines, making waves and transforming the landscape. Unlike most of the buildings you see in NYC that are reaching the sky, however, this one has stretched itself across only 3 city blocks. Yes, we're talking about Manhattan, New York City, where Google recently upped its game by renovating an almost 100-year-old freight station into a luxurious groundscaper. And when we say its refurbishment plans are extensive, we mean it. The $2.1 billion purchase of the massive 1.3 million square foot complex is the largest single building commercial real estate transaction since COVID-19, and possibly one of the largest of all time. In this video, we'll explore many unique components that surround this office, making it everyone's workplace dream space. Let's get into it. Well, the average Manhattan resident would be unable to lead you to St. John's Terminal or describe its appearance. Originally 3 floors tall and 3 blocks long, the building stretches north-south across West Street in Lower Manhattan. The New York City Central Railroad erected it in 1934 to handle 227 fully packed freight trains that entered and exited 30 feet above the ground, near the terminal of the elevated lines that would eventually become known as the High Line T. The recent constructed office is not like others in Silicon Valley. Ruth Porat, Google's chief investment officer, hinted at Google's plans to expand its presence in New York many years ago during a technology conference. Not everybody, big surprise, wants to live in Silicon Valley, so we want to make sure we have the opportunity to build vibrant centers across the country, she informed us. Last fall, Google revealed its plan to purchase this terminal from developer Oxford Properties, which has a century-old history. This contemporary gigantic structure, built in the 1930s, started as a freight hub for a national biscuit company. It will surprise you because the biscuit firm is none other than your childhood favorite, Nabisco. Yep, the same firm that sent you a gift of Oreos. So, you can say that this building has always aimed to bring people closer, whether it's in the form of spreading joy through cookies or the magic of search engines. How would you feel if you were all ready for a large outdoor party, and then it rained? In the above example, the cause is a pandemic rather than rain. Here, the story begins. The building refurbishment endeavor began in 2018, and Google began leasing the St. John's Terminal property in 2019, before the COVID-19 epidemic, unaware that the pandemic would radically alter their plans. Google was all set to have open layout plans, common spaces, and sufficient ping-pong tables to hold an Olympic competition. However, the 2019 pandemic arrived at the last minute, and the final design was later modified to allow for more flexible work arrangements. Google did not upset us, because the post-pandemic reality means more private domains and improved ventilation systems with a greater emphasis on adaptability. Now, it's time to explore Google's new $2.1 billion groundscaper, the 12-story St. John's Terminal building, situated at the intersection of Hudson River Park, the West Village, Soho, and Tribeca, is being marketed as a workplace designed for teams, but it also serves as an exciting new home for native plants and wildlife. With 1.5 acres of street-level vegetation, railbed gardens, and terraces made up of 95% of plants native to New York State, the habitat created by the project has attracted more than 40 bird species, including birds fueled up for a transatlantic migratory flight. St. John's Terminal, which was once the end of the railway that is known as New York's High Line, served as a freight facility and office space. The transformation kept the original rail beds, converting them into planters that dangle over the building's main entrance, and used wood salvaged from Coney Island boardwork during the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. Doesn't it look amazing? Google claimed that repurposing a historic building rather than creating a new headquarters from scratch saved 78,400 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions, equal to taking 17,000 cars off the road for a year. The internet firm also claimed to have saved 77% of its building debris from ending up in dumps. That really is considerate of Google, to be sure. Katie Scallon, a real estate project executive at Google, explains, "The interior includes live plants and wooden materials that enhance connections to nature, water references that represent the site's original Hudson River shoreline, and nature-inspired ceiling installations that evoke tree canopies and foliage." When it comes to thinking outside of the box, Google has always shown itself in the first place. Here's how. The facility is one of numerous Google offices erected in reconditioned structures, including a modified flour mill in Dublin, an outdated aviation hangar in Los Angeles' Playa Vista area, and Pier 57, a former New York City shipping terminal. The tech business also owns the nearby Chelsea Market, which was purchased for $2.4 billion in 2018 after being renovated into a retail and office complex. According to Real Capital Analytics, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, this is the greatest real estate deal in the United States for an office building since the start of the global spread of COVID-19. Let's look at what they've got different in terms of workplace settings. Google's offices have developed significantly since their eccentric beginnings in the 2000s. Instead of novelties such as ping-pong tables and floor slides, the emphasis is now on healthful settings that will allow people to work more productively. The design team employed Biophilic principles, a design that takes inspiration from the surrounding world, to create places that will reduce stress, cleanse the brain, boost mood, and increase creativity, according to Katie Scallon, Google's real estate project executive. Aside from all these incredibly talented ideas, one thing that comes to mind is why Google's new offices lack tennis tables, just like in Silicon Valley. If you've considered a visit to Google's freshly opened New York office, skip the idea of bringing your paddles. Unlike its Silicon Valley location, the company's new workplace lacks typical ping-pong tables. The fun game has been a Google vital component since the company's first office opened in 1998. It may have spurred the introduction of unique office perks such as nap pods and game rooms across Silicon Valley campuses. Ping-pong tables, in particular, have become a symbol of technology companies, with one startup CTO telling the Journal, "If you don't have a ping-pong table, you're not a tech company." However, Google's St. John's terminal deviates from this pattern, likely because it was created for the company's global business organization as well as software engineers. Another crucial and fascinating element of this 100-year-old groundscaper is giving their workers a choice of freedom. Google offers a modular neighborhood seating concept in St. John's Terminal, as well as its Mountain View headquarters, that can accommodate all of the different ways that a team works and where they wish to work. This also helps to future-proof the interiors. Designers and Google understand that workplaces will not look the same tomorrow. Thus, interior designs should be flexible and responsive. To give this thought life, the Google team worked closely with Gensler and Dirt, a modular interior wall firm, to create an exclusive portable room system. Rather than working from your boring desks fixed in one place, you can simply switch your place and shift to a different angle, creating a dynamic community. This is what they got. If a phone booth needs to be converted into a small meeting room, a bigger conference area, or vice versa, Google will simply add or remove panels to enhance the elasticity. The workplace can house around 3,000 workers, and it's divided into 60 neighborhoods for groups of 20 to 50 people. There are no designated workstations. Instead, you can use flexible seating areas or shared spaces, such as social areas, eateries, outdoor spaces, and micro kitchens. The amenities provide Googlers with ergonomic seats, generous work surfaces, and access to electrical connections. Not just that, along with shared neighborhoods, Google set aside an equal amount of space for a variety of common places where any Google employee, or even those coming to New York from other offices, can work. This provides an array of workspaces that seem like a lively coffee shop, a breezy outdoor garden, or a peaceful library with panoramic vistas of the Hudson. Well, the new office is definitely going to amaze you in certain ways because Google never disappoints. Let us tell you that they've prepared something amazing. It only seems natural that Google's global business organization's North American headquarters would be in New York, where so many of their clients and partners are located. One of the most important discoveries was that offering enough dedicated space where you and your potential client can come in and spend the day discussing together with other Google employees. It is foremost a critical aspect for comprehending the client's problems and collaborating to create innovative solutions. Multiple levels are dedicated to this type of partner-based work, along with an event center, cafe area, and breakout spaces to accommodate any size or style of client. Google's business community partners are critical to achieving the overall company aim of making the world's information broadly accessible and useful. It seems like St. John's Terminal is certainly going to help them achieve that goal together. What can other hybrid enterprises learn from it? Why should we care in the first place? So, here's the answer. Google does not stand isolated in its emphasis on design that is biophilic. Offices with plants, vistas of nature, and outdoor space are sprouting up all over the world. Surprisingly, Amazon has announced plans for a group of 4 buildings in Arlington, Virginia that will include a dog park and several rainwater-fed gardens populated by native trees and wildlife. Furthermore, in London, a new complex is set to open in 2026 that will comprise 400,000 square feet of office space as well as 30,000 square feet of green space with an urban farm and a 200-meter-long walk and talk track. This is how Google is setting the bar high for other tech giants as well in the world. But why is there such a preoccupation with green areas and plants in the workspace? Simply speaking, people want it. According to a study conducted by property investment firm JLL, 41% of employees rank outdoor spaces as one of their top 3 expectations for a wellness-oriented office. The identical study discovered that only 25% of respondents currently have access to an outside location at work. So, it's no wonder that the main companies are utilizing their financial capabilities to try and recruit talent by offering people what they desire. Google's mixed strategy means that the bulk of its employees will work both at the office and elsewhere. This might be from home, a coffee shop, or a co-working space. Although not every firm has the resources to make a large investment in Manhattan real estate, we can all learn from Google's St. John's Terminal initiative, with several organizations, including Google, announcing hybrid work arrangements for the next few years. Work is no longer an unavoidable burden that we must endure every day. Instead, it should be a welcoming environment where people can engage, collaborate, and share ideas. And if that includes a plant-filled terrace with views of the Hudson, those 3 days in the office will feel less like a job. So, we almost visited Google's new $2.1 billion NYC groundscraper office in this video, and we must applaud Google's courageous decision to build such a massive innovation cluster, which provides an intriguing perspective. Interestingly, in a city where it's nearly difficult to get a cab at rush hour, Google decided to zag while everyone else zigged, surprising everyone. What do you think of Google's remarkable 100-year-old groundscraper? Do you think it was a wise move to put your money into such an ancient building? Tell us in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please ring the bell icon and click the subscribe button to ensure you don't miss the next one. See you next time.